Cool. Okay. So now let's look at another one of these. That's not what I meant. Oh. Okay. So here's our next equation. Same thing, we're going to find the inverse. So our first step needs to be, to take our f of x and switch it back to our algebraic notation. We're going to take it out of function notation and back into our algebraic. So f of x just is y in a fancy suit. So we're going to put him back into his everyday clothes. Y equals 1/3 x plus 5. Our first step is going to be always to take it out of its function notation and put it back into the algebraic notation. Then we're going to take our x, take our y, and make them change places. Just the letters. Do not move any numbers, exponents, and nothing. X equals 1/3 y plus 5. That is the step that makes the inverse. Oop. Oh, let's move my mouse on here. Gross. There we go. Now we just need to get y by itself. So what do I need to do to get y by itself? Subtract 5 from both sides. We're going to have x minus 5 equals 1/3 y. What are we going to do next to get y by itself? Multiply by 3 to both sides. So I need to multiply this whole side by 3 and this whole side by 3. Not just the x, the whole thing. So we're going to have that our y is, and we're going to distribute over here, 3x minus 15. So all I have left to do is put it back into our inverse function notation. So we took our f function and we made the inverse of our variable x. And we get 3x minus 15. We're just changing our y back. If we start with function notation, we should end with function notation. Questions on that one? Okay. I'm going to put up the last one and then entirely change the equation because I don't like it. But, so just don't freak out when we see it. It's still going to be really, really similar. All right. We're not doing this. There's too many errors in that equation because there's like 3. So we're going to do, in fact, I'm not going to call it f anymore. Never mind, we are because my errors are just going away. So f of x equals x plus 2 squared. Because not every time we're gonna be working with linear equations. Sometimes we're gonna get funky things, and that's okay. We still are gonna treat it exactly the same way. We're gonna take our x, we're gonna take our y, and they're gonna change places. So our very, very first thing needs to be to switch this back into its algebraic notation. So f of x becomes y, x plus 2 squared. So our first thing always switches our function notation back to its algebraic notation. Then we're going to take our x, take our y, and make them change places. So I'm going to grab my letter x. I'm going to grab my letter y. And without changing anything else, they change places. Nothing else changes. So we have x equals the quantity y plus 2 squared. Nothing else got moved. Can you tell what the most common mistake is? I repeated that instruction over again. Nothing moves but the letters. That is the step that makes the inverse. It is now the inverse. It's just in terrible grammar. It's bad math grammar. So we need to fix this so it's a y equals, so we can have it as our proper math grammar. What do we need to do first to get y by itself? Square root. We got to get rid of the outside exponent first. So if I square root both sides, my square root and my square cancel out because those are inverse operations. So we have the square root of x equals y